Battlefront 2 is upon us, and now having put some time into the full game, I wanted to talk about 10 of my favorite changes they've made. Myself and all the other game changers were flown down to San Francisco to capture this content early to show it off to you guys. I have a lot of videos going up about it, and if you just want to see raw gameplay or tips, you can check those out, but in this video I wanted to go over 10 of the things from the multiplayer. Keep in mind, this isn't my full game impressions, as I didn't get to see everything, and this doesn't talk about anything with the single player. First off is the Battlepoint system. This is such an improvement to Star Wars Battlefront from 2015, where it was all just random. If you wanted to get a hero, you had to find the token just floating around the map, which also looked weird. Then you had players that would just sit there and camp the spawns for the tokens so they could play as the hero, and they weren't even playing the objective. You wouldn't get anything done. This has completely been revamped with this Battlepoint system, where as you get kills, as you get assists, as you play the objective especially, you get a lot of points for it. You'll earn these battle points, which you can then spend in order to spawn in as something. Now, this is not a flawless system, though, as one of the things I have a frustration with is that you have to respawn or kill yourself in order to spawn as one of these things. Of course, you could just wait until you naturally die and it's time to spawn in as something else, and you could spend some of those points, which it seems to be how it's intended. But because there's only one hero that can be out at a time, you're probably better off just respawning yourself so you can beat anybody else to that character. Even with that, though, I still am a big fan of this system because it starts to reward players who are playing well. And that brings me to point 2, your score multiplier. In the bottom left, you have a multiplier that will go up as you and your squad that you spawn in with earn points. When you earn enough, this will go to 2 times, meaning that any points that you earn will be doubled, giving you even more battle points and rewarding you further. The great thing as well is that it's not just dependent on how well you do, but it also can be contributed to by the team that you spawn in with. Something that I already wish was implemented in the game, though, is a way to play and squad up with specific friends. While you'll be able to go into games with friends, you won't be able to always be in the same squad as them. This is something that I've gotten very used to in other games like Battlefield, also made by DICE. Now, maybe people don't want to just copy it over from there, but it's also a really good system that I enjoy from it. In Battlefront 2, every 10 seconds, there's a new spawn wave that comes in. Anybody else who clicks spawn at the same time as you will automatically be put into that group, and that is who your squad is for that life. I also think this is a much better system than what was in the beta, where you just needed to be near those people that you spawned with in order to get extra points. Coming in at number 3 is the classes in this game, and I could do a whole 30-minute video just on all of the details here, but high level, you have 4 different classes to choose from. Each of them have specific guns that only they are allowed to use, and they also have attachments for them that you can put on, up to 2 per gun. From what we got to see, each of the guns that you had to unlock had 3 different options for attachments. From reduced recoil to making some fully automatic. There wasn't a whole lot in terms of variety, but it does allow for some customization with the guns. Each class also has a different amount of health, with the heavy having 200 and the specialist only having 100. The assault and officer in the middle at 150. Not only does this change the way that you play, but it also allows for a lot better balancing between the characters and their abilities and weapons. This makes the trade-off between the classes much greater, alongside the different abilities that you choose, which brings me to point 4, the star cards. Not only are these available for the 4 main classes, though, these are also available for the ships. Each hero has their own set of cards, and the vehicles. Star cards essentially are the names for abilities in this game, so you can spawn in with a grenade, or you can change it to a flash grenade. You can temporarily look through walls, make your map show exactly where everybody is relative to your position. Some of these are extremely powerful, but you can't have all of the powerful ones in all 3 of the slots. There's specific trade-offs that you have to make. And if you don't want to replace your abilities, you can also just turn on essentially passive traits like faster health regeneration or faster cooldown time. Certain abilities also are locked to specific classes. Each of these abilities you will also have to upgrade. One of the big controversies around this is the fact that you can spend real-life money in order to get more star cards, because these do come from crates. You only have a chance at unlocking them. DICE has addressed these issues that you will actually need to play the game in order to unlock the highest tier of them, and I even noticed while playing You have to be a certain level to unlock the next tiers of all of these abilities to get them stronger. So while the person who does spend real-life money will have more options with what in total you can use, the person who actually plays the game will have the higher level cards, which will have faster cooldowns, do more damage, have bigger blast radiuses. And while you're playing the game, you'll be earning credits so you can craft that item that you want to get. The person who spends money will have more options and can get all of the different cards unlocked for Specialist, Assault, etc. at a faster speed, but you'll still be able to do that as well. Same thing with unlocking weapons. You'll actually have to get a certain amount of kills to unlock that weapon, although you do have a chance of getting it from a crate. Because we only had 2 days to play this game, we didn't get to see the full progression and how this is going to work over the long term, but I am going to be somebody who spends my money on it, and we're going to see how it affects the game. Coming in for point 5 is the ships actually have classes now. Rather than just spawning as a ship, which technically did have different stats in Battlefront 2015, they now have different stats, but they also have different abilities. They have their own set of star cards, and there's also a lot more options in terms of what they look like depending on the map and the era that you're playing in, which is really cool. You also have hero ships. Instead of just having the Millennium Falcon and the Slave One, which are in this game, you also have an additional 6 or 7 options to choose from because there's so many more heroes in this game. This brings me to point 6. They also added other things that you could spawn as, other reinforcements. Added jump troopers, so you actually have to spend reinforcements points if you want to get the jump packs. It's not just everybody having jump packs flying all around the map anymore. This also helps with the issue that you can only spawn in with one hero at a time. It gives you other options to spend your battle points on. And again, each of these has their own star cards that you can spend points on and unlock and customize how you'd like. And speaking of heroes, point 7 is just that. It is a bit frustrating the way that some of the heroes interact, in particular the lightsaber heroes. You're not necessarily physically controlling the lightsaber, it's more of a button smash. Fortunately, you do have some different stuns that you can take advantage of. Rey has the ability to reverse the controls of whoever's in front of her, which is always fun to see them then run off a cliff trying to run the wrong direction. And because you do have a lot of ranged players like Chewie, Han, Leia, Palpatine, there's a lot of different ways to play and counter those lightsabers. The other reason it makes it such a positive to have so many different heroes is that you're not limited to just one hero on the battlefront at a time. In Galactic Assault, for example, you can spawn in as many times as you like, as long as you have enough points to spend it on. And because there's more options, you have more opportunities to actually find one that's available. And we're not done there with heroes. There are more to come. And the best part is, it's free. They've already announced Finn and Captain Phasma, and supposedly there's going to be more challenges and more content coming in seasons. For better or worse, though, DLC paid has been a pretty big staple in this industry for the last few years. And what we saw from EA with Titanfall 2, now with Battlefront 2, they're trying to make the DLC free with other mechanics to make additional revenue over time on the game. There's been huge issues with the paid DLC, that being that if only certain players have this new map, then not as many people are going to be playing that new map, and you've now divided the entire audience. Making the DLC free and using the star card system, I think, is a step in the right direction. Coming in for the 9th spot is less auto-locking and more skill required in this game. While there still is a homing shot that you can lock on the players with, it's not available for every single class and every single player, although maybe everybody will eventually use it and play that class. The X-Wing and all of the ships no longer automatically lock on. You have to properly lead your targets. It does give you an indicator so you know where to aim, but it's a lot better than what it used to be, which was just automatically lock on when you're relatively close to hitting the target. And if you do want to practice offline, their arcade system is far superior than in what it used to be. Not only can you still choose arcade missions and earn your 3 stars, but you can also now do custom arcade modes. You can choose which heroes, villains you want to play as. You can choose how many players are on each team, how strong the enemies are. This makes it even more enjoyable for split screen if you're playing on console, because you know, if you want to go 1v1 against somebody, you can set that up. I would love for them to make this an online feature, though, so we could actually play arcade against other players. And finally, point 10. I couldn't get away from saying the setting of this game is stunning. We spent 2 full days playing this game, the entire day, and we did not get to see everything. Galactic Assault has 11 different maps in it, which is the large mode 20v20, and each of them has different objectives, from escorting an AT-AT to stealing an AT-AT. You also have strike variations of each of these maps, as well as different settings for them, whether it's daytime, nighttime, sunset, and the graphics and design are beautiful on the PC. We did get an opportunity to play this on the PlayStation 4 as well. The graphics were superb on the PS4 Pro, which we played it on in 4K. Especially comparing it to the movies and the settings that we're familiar with, they did a great job in just making that a reality. Again, I can't give my full impressions on it yet, but I'll be taking a deeper look in on it as I play it, live stream it. You can tune in for that if you'd like. Again, plenty more gameplay videos if you just want to see some of the footage, some thoughts on those specific modes, as well as tips for things like the vehicles. If you enjoyed or thought it was a good overview of everything that's new, give it a like. It's hugely appreciated. Subscribe to the channel to catch all of the latest content, and I'll see you guys on the Battlefront. This is Stonemout64, over and out.